What's up, everybody? It's your girl JoJo, and I'm here with the review for Ready to Love. This is season 8, episode 9. You know what? I don't really understand. Excuse me if it's an echo in here. I'm out of town, but I don't really understand what's going on here because nobody has any connections. Okay, sorry. How y'all doing? I hope you guys are doing good today. I didn't even say hello, did I? Just rude. Okay, so I don't really understand what's going on here because nobody has any connections like that. So you guys know it's time for the infamous trip that they go on every year for Ready to Love, and it feels so out of place and so sudden because who who even likes each other at this point? By the time we get to the trip portion, usually somebody likes each other a lot. At least two couples we know are like a shoe in. There's no shoe ins here. Even Jessica and Maximar, whatever his name is, child, Gerald Levert Jr., I don't, even they are not really a shoe in. Chris and Aries, like, no, wait a minute. Did they kick Chris off? No, it was Herbert. Chris and Aries, no. Philip and Aries, maybe. Um, Janelle and Q, what? Like, it's just, why are they even going on a trip? Just cancel the whole trip because there are no connections here. But let's act like there's some connections and let's talk about what happened on the episode. Pause. What the hell? Like, this episode is gonna frustrate me. What is Katarina talking about? Okay, so they get there, and on the way there, everybody's talking about their connections or lack thereof. Y'all ain't got no connections. So they get to the house, and Katarina is having this little cute back and forth with really all of the guys. Like, she's telling them to go get their luggage and all of this stuff. And y'all know women, we tend to pack a little heavy or whatever. So she's talking to Maria about the rooms, and they like having some banter back and forth. What are y'all bantering about? Y'all don't have no connection, and it's too late for y'all to be happy. Katarina, do you know what stage of the game this is? Like, if you ain't got no connection by now, baby, you ain't never gonna have one. Like, this is the trip. This is where people start falling out. This is make a break, okay? This is where people usually break up with each other. This is where people get sent home for real, for real. This is where people send themselves home most of the time. Y'all know we done had more than one trip where somebody has sent themselves home because they knew that they didn't have a connection. So, Katarina, girl, what you doing? Is you just trying to stay in the game just to stay in the game? I mean, you cute and all, but I ain't got no patience tonight, okay? Let's continue. I am disgusted with everybody. This is going to be a rant. I might as well just make this a rant review because I'm going to be ranting. So, nephew Tyler Perry shows up. It looks like it's a Rolls Royce. Child, just let him show up in the Chrysler 300. He don't deserve a Rolls Royce for the foolishness that he putting on our television. So, he's showing up to tell everybody what they got to do. Everybody know what they got to do. It's time for y'all to have these deeper conversations. They already know that. So, they show up, and he lets the ladies know that one of them is going to be going home. So shortly after that, everybody kind of starts settling into the house. Q has put his luggage in Janelle's room, so maybe they're going to spend some time together. Jessica is asking her questions about Q and their connection and the choices that she makes, and Janelle's like, it's pretty much, is we or is we not at this point? Jessica's also at a crossroads herself because she's not really big on PDA, and I guess since they're all going to be in the house, inevitably there's probably going to be some PDA between her and Gerald Levert Jr. So they got all of that to think about. Q comes in with his hoochie daddy shorts, and that's when I'm like, wait, why are y'all getting on my nerves? Like, I don't like none of you. I don't like any of you. But he comes in because he got to show his legs off, and you know, he got to leave Janelle wanting more. Boy, get out my room. Get out our room. I don't want to see you till later on tonight. Get you, your legs, and your booty shorts and get out. Get out. All right. So the people gather together. Everybody's doing various things. Phil is rubbing feet. Aries might as well just tell Chris it's a no because I feel like if Chris were to walk to the pool and see them two, he would know it's a done deal for him. Katarina is outside with Q because Q is on the grill, but Q has on those booty shorts and an apron. So it doesn't look like he has on any clothes underneath. And that's the look he was going for because he wants the attention, Derek Jackson Jr. And so while they're having a little back and forth and teasing, Janelle comes in. And Janelle is like, I'll leave you alone for 1 minute and you ain't got no clothes on. And so Katarina's like, yeah, girl, he butt naked, blase, blase. So she think her and Janelle's playing games. So she tells Janelle, come join them. And Janelle said, I don't like to share. Okay. Even though Katarina says she don't mind sharing. And so Katarina asks Q, is he spoken for? And Q said, yeah. So right then I know Katarina just back on up because even if he's not technically spoken for, he's agreeing in the presence of Janelle, and anything that he says to you after the fact, he's already agreed in her presence. So I wouldn't even talk to him no more. I just leave him to that chicken and that other chicken, which is Janelle. So Janelle is like, it don't matter. It don't matter when Katarina says that she didn't know he was spoken for. I don't know. The whole thing was just cringy. They later go and talk by the pool and kind of solidify what they're doing there, and that's just to kind of take the time to spend more time together, get to know each other better because they're coming to their final moments, and Q is really zeroing in on Chanel. Now, I've been wrong before about Ready to Love. Y'all know I was wrong about Reba and I forget his name. And I might be wrong about the two of them, but even if they do make it to the finale, I just don't see it in Q. I feel like he's gonna make it to the finale just to disappoint her. That's what I think, but I've been wrong about a couple on here before, and I might be wrong about them too, but I'm just not seeing it. All right, now it's a couple of things going on right now. So Chris and Lee are talking. Did I miss something? When did Chris and Lee have a connection? I don't remember that. So they're having a conversation, and I don't know why I never saw it before. This is perfect. Lee is conservative as far as we know, quiet, seemingly very submissive, ready for somebody to come into her life and just kind of take over. Chris want to take over. He want to be that dominant type of person. Now, girl, he might make you stop working out at that gym. Okay, you might not be able to do that as a career no more. You might have to come on in the house and do some online classes only. But I don't know why I didn't see it before. Those two work to me. They actually work better than her and Q, and they already look alike. And y'all know when couples have been together a long time, they start looking alike. So they might as well just go ahead because they got the first part out the way. So they might as well just go ahead and be together. Then we got Sierra and Gerald Levert Jr. I don't have time for this. All right, I don't have time. I don't know why I'm so worked up, y'all. I'm tired. But Sierra is complaining because Morier is not pursuing her the way that she's used to being pursued. So she puts him on blast in front of a table of people that he's not really coming at her the way that she's used to being come at, if you will. So they go off to the side to have a conversation, and he tells her that she has to put herself in a position to be pursued, and she tells him, I feel like I shouldn't have to tell a man how to pursue me and how to date me and how to court me, to which he says, every woman not the same. So yes, you do have to tell me. I actually agree with both of them. Like, no, every woman is not the same. And yes, you do need to let me know. And you have to put yourself in a position, like, I'm hitting you up, I'm calling you, I'm contacting you. You have to contact me back. You have to message me back. You have to call me back. That is true, Sierra. However, Maria, if you don't like the girl, say you don't like the girl. And I just think at the bottom of it, you don't like Sierra like that. I've never thought Sierra was serious about this process. I always thought she came off kind of jokey. At first, I thought it was her personality, but now I see it's just like a maturity thing. So it seems like a maturity thing. Let me not say that. It seems like it is. It just seems like she's not taking any of this seriously, to me. And even when they get to dinner, and they're about to start eating, she's still talking to everybody at the table about how she's not really feeling it and she's not really being pursued. And she's saying all of this while she's watching Jessica, who is letting it be known that she definitely wanted, child. Jessica making plates, asking Morier what he wants to eat and what kind of chicken he want. Like, she's definitely letting him know that she wants to be pursued. Now, whether or not you would do it, I'm just letting you know that she letting Gerald Levert Jr. know what's up. So Sierra is uncomfortable. She said she ain't even really unpacked her bags because she feel like she probably going home. And yeah, I predict that for her as well. Oh, Chris, we weren't sure. We weren't sure, but now we know for sure that you are definitely one of those. So there's a game that they're about to play, and anytime you pull out them little cards and start asking questions that nephew Tyler Perry wrote on the cards for them to ask each other, you know it's gonna be some shiggity. Number one, the first thing I got a problem with is sit up. All right, everybody need to sit up while we playing the game. This ain't lounge time. Why y'all laying down with y'all feet on each other? This is not lounge. This ain't playtime. Okay, this might be a game, but we not playing. So everybody need to sit up. That's number one. Number two, the questions start going around. So one of the first questions were, have you ever had sex with the same gender? Sierra says yes, and she's making jokes about it. I'm wondering if the girl is a little tipsy. I'm not really sure. The next question is, do you care about body count? And I immediately held my breath because I wasn't really sure where this conversation was going to go, but I also know that these are people of a certain age. When I hear people talk about body count and really, really make it a big deal, they are either people who can't get no coochie or no peen, or they are people who are very young. I remember when I was young, that was really a thing. Like, ooh, how many people you been with? How many people you been with? And as we got older, we just assumed that everybody was ran through, whether you was ran through or not. We just assumed, like we out here, we all over 30, we all just doing the best we can. Okay, welcome to the trash bin. So after that, the next question is, have you ever met the love of your life? Have you ever been in love or met the love of your life? To which Morier says no. He doesn't believe he has ever been in love or met the love of his life, which I believe that Morier has been, if he hasn't been married, he does at least have a child with someone. But I think Morier's been married. Maybe not, but that was, at his age, that was shocking. Like, not even one time. So Sierra's just like, oh, it's all starting to make sense. Like, how can I expect love from somebody or expect care and concern from somebody who hasn't ever even experienced it? He hasn't experienced love before. So I'm like, you wasn't in love with old tarot cards? Like, what was in the cards for you? Moving on. So the next question is about gender roles. Do you believe in traditional gender roles? Janelle starts out talking, saying that she does have respect and belief for the gender roles, and that the problem with gender roles was never a problem in their community. That was a problem amongst our white counterparts. I don't know if I 100% fully agree with that, but that's not a hill that I'm trying to die on tonight because I got to get this review done. Then we move over to Chris, and that's when I found out that Chris is one of those. Chris doesn't believe in the equality of today, rabbit ears, and says that, women just, that's why you see men in more leadership roles, because women are just more emotional, to which Jessica cuts him off and says that ain't got nothing to do with nothing because men are definitely emotional. I don't subscribe to all of that, masculine this and men are this. Okay. I'm gonna try to look at this from a few different angles. I don't really got time, y'all, but I would encourage you guys to read The Awakening of the Master Feminine and The Awakening of the Master Masculine. Two very good books that focus on the principles of masculinity and femininity. Most of the time when I hear people talk about gender, or when I hear people talk about masculine and feminine, they're talking about traits. They're talking about characteristics. They're not really talking about dynamics. They're not really talking about feelings, emotions, personality traits, because if they were, they would know that you have to have a balance of masculine and feminine for you to truly be one that is in full control of your femininity or full control of your masculine. Anybody that's too tipped in the masculine scales is not a good masculine partner. Anybody that's way too tipped in the feminine scales is not a good feminine partner. And you don't really know that if you don't read or if you don't apply some kind of logic to what it is that you're doing. And a lot of people don't. They just kind of go around talking about gender roles, but those are roles, those are things, those are traits that society put on what is masculine and feminine, but that's not really what's the embodiment of it. That's not really the energy. And it is very much energy, and you have to learn about it. It's not just women are emotional, men are logical, or that's a part of it, or women are nurturers and men are not. It's not that rigid. It's actually way more to it than that. And so I would encourage everybody to read those two books. They're actually very hard to find in print, which lets you know that is pretty good information. It's not widely circulated. I finally got my hands on a copy after almost 2 years. But Chris kind of says that Jessica can run her household how she wants, and she can be argumentative, but she gonna be one of those 60-year-old lady with cats. And that's when I knew that he was one of them. If you truly felt like that, if you truly felt like she can run her household the way that she wants, then you would say she can run her household the way that she wants, and she will find a man that matches that energy, but it won't be a man like me. You assume that she is going to be single, that she is not going to find anybody, that she's not going to have anybody because she doesn't think the way that you think, and that's very, very problematic. I don't have a problem with people who believe in gender roles, but it's all about the way that you address it. And if you're addressing it based on some pseudo, you know, rigid traits that you have learned from some type of relationship guru on YouTube, then you are going to be the one with the cats, or you are going to be the one alone. Chris, you already got, one failed relationship under your belt. So it's just like, I don't know if you have that much room to talk about what it is. And then he says that I do wish they would have been quiet and let him make his point, because do I believe in the equality of today, of how they try to make men and women equal? No, probably not, but I do believe there should be some type of equity among sexes. Men and women definitely are not the same, and I'm not saying that they should be treated the same or they should be doing the exact same things. However, I don't think women should be treated as subpar human beings, and I always will say I agree with what the feminist movement was in the beginning, because it was so that women could be seen as human beings and not property. And I will always agree with that. What it turned into later, not really sure. But I'm going to just leave it at that, child. But Chris, now we know. I see your true colors shining through. Lee, go ahead and quit that gym, baby. You're not going to be able to work there dealing with him. Okay, so now the question is going even further, where we have Janelle and Katarina discussing the question in depth. And that's when Janelle speaks up and it's just like, when we talk about, well, first Chris said he don't feel like a woman should be paying bills, whatever. He tried to save himself. But Janelle is just like, we were sent here to be a helpmate. And so we were sent to carry a certain kind of weight. They were not meant to be alone. And Katarina was like, you can have that weight. I'm not trying to carry no weight. I've already done the whole alpha female thing. And I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to rest in my femininity. And to which Janelle says, why is it that we throw these things out there where if a woman is doing her thing, she's masculine, which I actually agree with. Sometimes people do kind of word it like that. And Katarina was just like, that's not really what I'm saying. I think she was referring to when Janelle said that we have to carry the weight. Like, I think that's what made her bring that comment up. And Janelle did say that. But before they get to kind of clear up with either one of them are saying, Janelle is just like, let me finish. I didn't say you said that. Well, you did actually. You did actually say that she said that. And Katarina is just done with Janelle. I just think before Janelle even, her voice even got tense, Katarina had already decided that she was done and that she was not going to have any more of her conversation. So she was just like, you're rude. I don't like your tone. You nasty. You got an attitude. And they start going back and forth. And in the end of this back and forth, she calls Janelle a rude B word. And I chuckled. You guys, I don't really care for Janelle. So Janelle is in her confessional saying that anytime she's had to act out of character, people have come for her. Lies, blatant lies. Everybody has not come for her. There's been times where Janelle has gotten nasty with people and been rude and snarky, and nobody was coming for her. She did that on her own volition. So I'm not going for that. And so Quentin or Q is trying to keep Janelle calm and keep her from responding back and forth to Katarina, to which Katarina gets up. She walks away. Morier, Gerald Levert Jr., got the audacity to say, I don't want to see these women, especially two black women that I got a connection with. Since when? Since when did you have a connection with Katarina? I don't recall y'all two having no kind of connection. So he got to go after Katarina to see what's going on with her and see why she's upset. And Katarina is trying to get him to admit that Janelle has a bad attitude, to which he throws his hands up and he's not going to respond to the question, but he thinks that both of them handled that wrong. Because I'm a little bit biased, I think Janelle handles it wrong. But I could just be very, very biased. But I do think Janelle in general is rude. Her point is the only point that matters. She has to get her point across. She has to be the only one in the room that makes sense. She got to be the one to get the last word. And then she said that she was tired of putting up with disrespect from these ugly B words. Ugly? Who? Who ugly? Katarina is a lot of things, but she is far from ugly. So I got my eye on you, Janelle, okay, with your wise self. Let me not be mean just because you being mean. Let's move forward. All right. After this whole conversation, oh, I forgot to mention that Q was kind of disappointed in Janelle, but maybe we'll get more development of that later in the episode. Sierra realizes after talking to Morier that maybe she needs to try a little bit harder to let him in and maybe to pursue him a little bit more and be a little bit more open, because she's seen now that he is having some difficulty and that he's trying to be open to the idea of love, even though he hasn't really experienced it, but he believes he can give Sierra the things that she wants. I believe he can give Sierra the things that she wants as well. He just don't want to. He don't want to give them to Sierra. He's really more tapped in towards Jessica, but at this time, it must be anybody's game, because he goes to give Jessica some soap. Jessica is stretched out on a yoga mat with her glasses on and a velour suit, about to do some stretches and do some work and go to bed, and acting awkward with Morier like they don't talk every day. I almost think she was waiting for Morier to take the first step in their dealings with one another, but Morier is not taking the hint. They both just standing there looking at each other like two ducks. And I'm not finna sit here and talk about it because it was stupid. Morier, you know what she was trying to get you to do. You know she was trying to put something down and you ain't say nothing. Jessica, you know you wanted that man to probably sleep in your bed. You should have just said, why don't you come in here and do some stretches with me when you get done, when you get out the shower. But it was just awkward. And then she had on her glasses too, so it made it even more awkward. They both just looked like two nerds staring at each other. So Phil, the foot rubber, comes in and he rubbing feet yet again. Any chance he can get to be with Aries and be in her presence, he gonna do it. He could be rubbing feet, he could be rubbing scalp, he could be rubbing palms, he could be rubbing knees, ankles, head, shoulders, knees, and toes. It don't even matter as long as he can talk to Aries. Aries is a beautiful woman. I think these two are done. I think Chris is out the picture. And Chris, are you going to be in the house at 60 with cats? Because I don't think there's anybody for you here, but maybe Lee, and that's if you can get Lee on board, because she be acting slow. All right, so I want to go back to Q and Janelle real quick, y'all. It's windy outside. I'm outside right now. Q and Janelle real quick. And the reason why I want to go back is because in the clips of the show, I saw a conversation that him and Janelle had, but I did not see it on the show, but I did watch it. And it's basically Q just telling Janelle what he does and doesn't like, how he didn't appreciate how she behaved when it came to Katarina, but he wasn't straightforward saying it. It's almost like he was moving very hesitantly in the conversation with her, but he was basically saying like he's the type of person that doesn't want to deal with somebody that allows stuff to fester. Like, I want to be with somebody that's able to let stuff go, to able to handle stuff a certain kind of way, to which Janelle basically says she does not think she's wrong, and she also says that she has a certain personality type and people just expect her to lay down and take it. And if she does speak up because she has a certain personality type, people automatically think that she's wrong or she's being aggressive, which I disagree with. I have thought from the very beginning that Janelle was snooty. I thought that she had an attitude. I thought that she was jealous of the girls that were younger than her. And I just don't genuinely think she's a nice person. I think she's very easily offended. Anything that happens, she thinks it's like a slight against her. And if you don't agree with her, then you have to be her enemy. You can't just respectfully disagree. So I just don't think that he's going to get anything out of this conversation. He realizes early that he's not going to get anything. And it's almost like he changes his stance and saying, okay, well, I can see that you don't think there's anything is wrong with what you said, so I'm just going to accept it. They just move on. But that was in one of the clips of the episode. After that, we do see Katarina with Chris. They have a conversation. They seem to have some type of parallels because she is of African descent on her dad's side, I think. And we know that Chris is Nigerian. So he's talking about his culture and his life and how they don't even have life insurance because his family, when his mom died, they all chipped in to get him to Africa. Listen, you guys, I'm not going to get started on this kind of conversation because I don't want to be accused of being xenophobic. I don't want to be accused of anything. But I have this conversation a lot. I've had it even with some Nigerian friends of mine. And all I'm going to say is I'm not going to be ashamed ever of who I am or where I come from just because you may handle things culturally different. This is what I know. This is where I am from. I can trace all the way back to my great grandmother. And despite how other people may feel, despite if you feel like it's a real heritage or a real culture or not, I am proud of where I am from and my family and my people and our land and our belongings and where we are in my family and my tree. Period. I'm grateful that I have life insurance because my family is not rich. Although we do have land, we are not rich people. We live on our land. We don't necessarily always profit from it. And they may not have the funds to get together to get me to bury my mother or anything of the sorts. Not saying they wouldn't try, but I like the fact that I have the ability to be able to live in a land that can afford me a policy that I pay on every month to bury my mother and also will leave some wealth behind when my mother passes on. I'm grateful to have that. And if that's not culturally appropriate to somebody, then whatevs. Okay? That's all I'm gonna say about it. I don't have a problem with people talking about where they're from and what they believe because Chris is bringing that up to Katarina. I just think that when Chris does it, it comes with the air of this is the right way and any other way is not the appropriate way. And if you do it the way that I don't deem appropriate, you're not going to be as happy as I am. You're not going to be as culturally rich as I am. You're not going to have the type of husband that I can be. And even though he tries to come off as I'm open to other people's opinions, even if they don't agree with mine, that's not really what I'm getting from Chris. Moving on. And Katarina don't like you like that. Katarina just trying to make sure she doesn't get eliminated, which she did a good job of for this episode. Then after that, who do we have next that we see together? Trying to make sure I'm not missing any core people. I don't think that I am. If I am, please forgive me. Lee comes outside because she's going to gather all the guys together and they're going to do a step class. Now, the ladies are looking at Lee like that's quite the outfit, but I think she just had on a regular workout outfit. She can't help that she got body. So she does a class with the gentleman. Janelle is irritated and doesn't really want to do a class because she didn't come here to sweat and work out. She doesn't even have on workout clothes. It looked like it was some kind of vacation set that she had on. Everybody else had on workout clothes. Everybody looked like they was doing something different. So I'm really trying to figure out what's really going on because what's the routine? But Lee does teach them a routine. And it was good because like Sierra said, everybody need to loosen up anyway. Everybody needed to enjoy themselves and try to have a good time. I will say out of all the trips on Ready to Love, to me, this was one of the worst. Not even just because of Janelle and Katarina's little squabble that they had, just because it just don't seem real. Like, how are we on episode 8 or 9 at this point? Like, there's nothing here. There's nothing here. There's nothing. Okay, so now the guys are going to meet with nephew Tyler Perry because they have to discuss who they are going to eliminate. They talk about their connections, more the same. Like, Morier is connected to multiple women, which how? Like, to me, his only main connection is Jessica, if they even have it anymore, because Sierra, no, I don't think he's feeling her like that. And then Katarina, she's just trying to stay on the show. I don't care what nobody say. Phil talks about his strongest connection. He talks about Katarina, but he says it's very surface. Chris talks about how him and Jessica have parted ways due to the fact that he feels she's very combative, but he's looking forward to seeing what might happen with Katarina and Lee. I don't think either one of those are happening, except for maybe Lee. There's a 50-50. What it all boils down to, okay, and Q does talk about the situation that happened with Janelle and how that wasn't really something that he would want to see. But what it boils down to, in the bottom, we're going to have Sierra and Jessica. So the episode actually ends with that, with Morier calling the two of them to the front, telling them what their issues are. Sierra, you seem to be kind of not taking this seriously all the time. And then we have Jessica. They do talk about her being more combative and her tone and how she addresses people. Ultimately, we all know that Sierra is probably going to be the one going home, but I can't say that for sure, but I just feel like it's going to be her. And that was really it, y'all. The episode was not good. I can't even believe I managed to drudge out a review for this. I just don't think they are where they need to be at this point of the season. I don't see any strong connections. I do not like Janelle. Sierra needs to go home. Chris probably needs to go home as well. And Katarina, you just trying to stay in the game. Big ups to you, sis. The strongest connection on the show would be Phil and Aries, and even that connection, I'm not sure how strong it is because it doesn't always convey on television. Y'all let me know what y'all thought. Like, comment, and subscribe, child. This show getting on my nerves. Have a good one.